Hey everyone, it's me, Rochelle Charles, and today we're doing Mel the Minion. Yep, you guessed it right, that's Mel the Minion sitting right there. So let's get started.
Alright, so the first thing I need to do is split each of my cakes horizontally and douse them with some sugar syrup, simple sugar syrup to keep the cake moist. And I filled each of those halves. In between each of those halves, I filled it with rich chocolate ganache, and there I'm smoothing it all out. I've baked a dome-shaped cake as well as two 8-inch round cakes and an 8-inch hemisphere, and I've split each of those cakes into half, so I've got 6 halves. Right, and so now I flipped the 8-inch round cake. I flipped it over, and I'm carving out the bottom because minions have like a rounded bottom. So I flipped the cake over, and I'm just carving out the bottom to reflect that same shape. I'm just smoothing out the sides and making sure everything has an even coat of ganache, because I want my fondant looking absolutely smooth once it's on the cake. And I flip it back over, make sure everything is smooth once again. I use a hot palette knife to smoothen out everything. Once that's done, I'm gonna insert some dowels into the bottom tier so it can support the top hemisphere, the head of the minion. And there you can see that I'm doing exactly the same thing with the hemisphere as I did with the other cake. So my dowels will support the head of the minion. Smoothing out the sides again, so the seams, you can't see any seams, everything looks seamlessly smooth. And I'm going to insert a dowel right through from the top of the cake right to the bottom, so everything stays in place. It's not going to move. Even in transit it won't move. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do the goggles. Mel the Minion just has one goggle, like a single lens goggle, so that's what I'm doing. I've cut it out using a round cookie cutter, and I'm gonna let it dry overnight. It's gum paste, it's not fondant, so it dries to a harder, firmer final product. I'm just making sure I get all the details right. And there you can see I'm doing the eye. It's slightly dome shaped, so I've got that detail in as well. I'm rolling out my yellow fondant. I've used a combination of golden yellow and lemon yellow to get the exact color of the minions. I'm going to do it in 2 parts. I'm going to do the bottom part first, and then I will lay out another piece of fondant over the top, covering the head. And you don't have to worry about the seam, because exactly where you can see the seam, I'll have the black strap holding up the goggles, so you're not going to see the seam at all. The black strap will completely cover the seam. Yeah, so I'm just going to align that. And you can see I'm inserting his his hairs. You can actually count them. They're literally about 5 on each side. Just rolled up black fondant. And this is not your standard minion. This is a picture of Mel the Minion when he was in jail. So we're gonna give him one of those jailbird outfits. And so we need black and white striped fondant for that. Just want to make sure that the stripes align correctly. Yeah. And there you can see I've added on the strap as well as stripes, and now I'm doing I'm molding his arms. So I've attached his hands on at the end. He has three fingers. So made cuts into the fondant and then shaped it accordingly. Also formed his shoes, which I will attach in a bit. And I'm dusting silver dust on his goggles to make it look very realistic and as close as the original as possible. I fixed the goggles onto his head using a floral wire. It's all food grade, so that it's firmly set in there because it's pretty heavy. And inserted the eye, and there you have it. All of the details